Here we are.
Wasn't supposed to be like this.
Okay.
Talk about the Eagles instead.
The Eagles.
That felt good.
Yeah.
I don't think I'll ever like believe, but
Yeah. They're playing pretty good, man.
they look really good.
Yeah. It's
They're
the
playing really
the offensive line combo with Barkley is like offensive line was just fucking mauling them on Sunday.
Yeah.
And then Barkley is truly running like he's been on the Giants for half a decade. And he's been running behind a bad line with a bad quarterback, and now all of a sudden he's like free. It's very nice.
Looking at those Quignon stats after the game.
Yeah.
Everyone he's matched up against this year.
Well, they don't even throw there anymore.
Yeah.
You know?
Is he favorite for?
He's second for defensive rookie. He's second. Yeah. It's tough because if they stop throwing at him, he's not going to, he won't get interceptions.
He doesn't make picks, yeah.
Yeah.
Is it like, am I recency bias for thinking that he's the best like cover corner on the Eagles in my life? I've never seen anything like this.
Well, I mean, Asante Samuel was awesome.
But was he like, I mean, he's a ball hawk.
Yeah.
But like, it didn't feel, when somebody was on Asante, it didn't feel, at the time, I'm sure the numbers would bear out in a different way, but at the time it didn't feel like, oh, they're not going anywhere.
Troy Vincent was also awesome.
Yeah.
You know,
Absolutely. Like Troy and Bobby, Lito and Sheldon,
yeah,
and then Asante.
Yeah.
And then like for a little bit, Slay and Bradbury, but like, I don't know.
Bradbury had 1 year, really. Like Quinn, I think that honestly, the difference for Quinion that reminds me of Troy Vincent a little bit is that he'll hit people, where Asante was sort of allergic to it. It almost seems like it's affected Slay. Like Slay hit somebody in the Washington game. He's like, well, I guess if everybody else is doing it, maybe I'll hit people too. It's kind of nice.
It's very cool to have the fact that Quinion and Cooper DeJean are both rookies and they're this good already.
Oh yeah, Aaron mentions in the chat Eric Allen, but that's pretty much before your Eagles watching. Yeah. I would imagine Eric Allen was. Yeah. He was awesome too.
There's just something special about a guy that you're like, you're not going that way.
Yeah, they're not even going to try it.
Look the other side.
Yeah.
I mean, it just doesn't feel like we've had that kind of guy. Even the good corners that we've had, it hasn't felt like it's.
Namdi wasn't that guy, you don't think?
Not for
Byron
me.
Maxwell.
No. A couple of the University of Washington guys they drafted. That always works out well. Corners from UW.
Ready to rock. Whew. There we go. The Rights to Ricky Sanchez podcast is brought to you by, or presented by, DraftKings Sportsbook. Sign up for DraftKings Sportsbook by using promo code RTRS. Hit a little parlay last night. Little Jake Paul and Jared McCain and Paul George threes parlay. Put them out of business with my $10 bet. Made $30 back. Anyway, join by using promo code RTRS, and brought to you by Briggs Auction, the official auction of the process at briggsauction.com. Big Barker Therapeutic Dog Beds. Get yours at bigbarker.com/Ricky. And Kinetic Skateboarding. Get 9.1% off your first order with code Dave Silver. On the show today, look, the good part is that Jared McCain is awesome. The bad part is that the Sixers continue to just fucking blow. I mean, suck. Like 12 games into the season, and they are 12, right? 12 games in the season, and they are just atrocious to watch. So goods and bads with anything. And also, I didn't get the chance to play Mike the new, because he wasn't on the last pod, the new listener submitted Gershon Yabusele song. So have to play that for him as well. It is nice and awkward. 2 new pods from the Ricky family of pods this week. A new draft council talking about whether Jared McCain could be Rookie of the Year, which was an early Dan Ollinger was early, very positive on McCain. So that is our NBA Draft podcast, which is hosted by Dan Ollinger and Ahmed Jama, the Draft Council. Get it wherever you get your podcast. New episode of the Carl Landry Record Club. We talk about the Queens of the Stone Age album, Songs for the Deaf, Marvelous 3, the Hey album, and a new song from Michael Kiwanuka. And Carl Landry Record Club Live 2 is this week at Underground Arts, Wednesday night. It is Linkin Park centric because we'll be talking about the band and our friend Jason Lipchitz's book. It Starts With One, which is about Linkin Park. New album came out yesterday, which is good coincidence as well. AU will be part of the panel, as well as my co-host Mutlu. There are 2 tickets you can get. One is just general admission, $10, and then the other one comes with a book. It's $29.08, and Jason will sign your book. And we got a DJ playing new metal the rest of the night too. So again, that is Wednesday at Underground Arts in Philly. We'll put the link to buy tickets in the description of the pod. Kinetic Skateboarding is we love Kinetic Skateboarding, a very long time sponsor. I think either second or third Ricky sponsor ever, maybe second. I think Kornblau was second, I think. Kinetic third. Anyway, I'm big on the gear from Kinetic, and my favorite thing that you can get at Kinetic is Kinetic branded gear. Now, they have all the skateboard brands there, all that stuff, but the Kinetic stuff I like the most. And this stuff right up top, CJ, if you go to that, that t-shirt, it almost looks like a high school like homecoming t-shirt or something with the Kinetic chicken logo or whatever. I fucking love it. They have it in blue, they have it in gray, and there's a hoodie version of it as well. I would recommend checking in at Kinetic once a week or so, see what sneakers they have, because they have a bunch of stuff that you're only going to get at Kinetic, New Balance and Vans and Nikes. And then as far as the apparel, great for fall and winter coming. Lots of hoodies, lots of jackets, lots of pants, all that kind of stuff. So go to kineticskateboarding.com, use code DaveSilver for 9.1% off your first order. Without any further ado, Amos and the chef.
We were right, y'all. We were right. Even when it went wrong, we were right. We was right, y'all. We were right. So say the name. Say the name. We were right, y'all. We were right. Even when it went wrong, we were right. We were right, y'all. We were right. So say the name. Say the name. Say the name.
Welcome to the Rights to Ricky Sanchez podcast. I'm Spike Eskin, along with a guy that knows the NBA Cup never really fucking mattered anyway. That is one, Mike Levin.
It doesn't count. It's
doesn't
stupid.
matter.
You can't just make up a championship and slap it in the middle of the year.
Did you see the Lakers hung a banner about it? What are they doing?
Stupid shit. We've never given a fuck, and we couldn't possibly now.
Losers. Okay. The Sixers suck so far.
You think 2-10 is bad?
Well, it seems bad.
Okay.
And to me, there are 2 different ways you can take this. So, Mike, I'm going to play you 2 different voicemails from 2 different Ricky listeners, and you have to tell me which person you side with, okay? So here's the first one, to 833 Lickface.
I have truly enjoyed watching these McCain emergence games, even though they've been losses and disheartening in ways. But this game, the Magic game, fuck this. These guys don't give a shit. They're not playing like it is desperation mode, which it fucking is. When you're getting 29 points from your rookie and you can't make up the difference against a Magic team with Banchero out, Joel looks like he doesn't give a shit. Paul looks like he doesn't give a shit. How many takeaways are they going to get? There's a minute left. It's a fucking terrible game. Fucking terrible game. Man, this has been a really hard stretch to watch. Really hard stretch to watch. Fuck this.
Okay. So there's fuck this, and then there's this guy.
Hey, guys, this is Samuel Dallenberg. Happy Friday. I don't know why people are getting so worked up about the Sixers this early. Who gives a fuck about the NBA season for the first 25 to 30 games? Honestly, it doesn't matter until January. I'd much rather see if the team can gel together without Embiid as well as PG on the court, determine if McCain's a real NBA player, which it's looking like he is, and figure out whether or not the corpse of Kyle Lowry or Reggie Jackson is going to be our future off the bench guard. Now, question for you is, if the Sixers determine that they need another power forward at the trade deadline, it seems like the Grizzlies could be a great suitor. Which Grizzlies forward would you rather trade for? Jake LaRavia, Brandon Clark, Santi Aldama, or Vince Williams? All right, guys. Have a great weekend.
All right. Putting aside his Grizzlies question, are you more, fuck this, this is fucking unacceptable, or I really don't care at this point in the season?
I think it's somewhere in between. I mean, 2-10 is 2-10. Ray Rhodes ass record. Don't like it.
Yeah.
I watched both the Magic and the Cavs game after I got home from work last night, sort of rammed them together.
Oh boy.
Which is I wouldn't recommend it.
No.
At once. It's unsafe for the human eye. But because I'm not watching it live, because I'm watching it after work, it is a slightly different experience. And there are like a number of positives that I'm taking from this season, which nobody fucking wants to hear. Like,
Yeah.
that's not a good consolation, but I mean, 2-10 is bad. Joel, as always, looks very rusty to start the season. He's not in shape. He had a good first half and an awful second half of last night's game. Paul George makes an incredible number of shots and tough shots. I wish he didn't have to take so many tough shots. It would be better to take easy shots, and I think that if we as a team worked a little harder to be intentional, you could get easier shots. And then, yeah, just like stupid turnovers for Embiid. Caleb Martin had a bunch of stupid turnovers last night. So it's frustrating to come out on the wrong side of a game like that, because there were stretches of that game I thought they were playing very well. And obviously McCain looks incredible. And that's probably the biggest takeaway of the season. You could look at it that way and just go like, McCain is really, really good. Way better than we thought right away. And we can talk about that.
We will.
But they're fucking 2-10, dude. Like, they're 2-10.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's only so long. There's not that much season. It's not a baseball season.
Yeah. I'm more with the fuck this guy at this point, having watched these games live. Like, they gotta wake the fuck up. Like, the first of all, the second half of last night's game was unacceptable on a number of levels. First of all, I know we're used to Joel Embiid not being good in the first, he's always like this.
Yeah.
Not this year, right? Like, this was supposed to be the year where we spent weeks getting him to the point where everybody was confident. Now, you still have to get in game shape or whatever, but it is remarkably similar in the second half and in the first game to the Joel we've seen at the beginning of every season, and he had to look better at the beginning of this season, given the fact that they pissed away the first 9 games of the season to get him to a point where, and that is what we're selling to everybody, is that, well, this is the smart thing to do because he'll be in shape, and he doesn't look in shape at all. No. So fuck that. The second half, just sort of dumb lack of focus turnovers, which are on Joel and everybody else, just not real. And it was amazing to actually hear Allah get frustrated with the team and not like just give it, well, they have 3 minutes left, which is what we normally get, like the just fucking lack of focus and care to every possession in a game that was incredibly winnable for the first 40 minutes of the game until they got their asses handed to them. And that goes to Caleb Martin. It goes to Paul George. It goes to everybody that was on the team. Nick Nurse, like, I'm sorry, man. Like, their want to and their attention to detail, even with all the new guys and all that you have to like deal with, that is on you. That is on the head coach ultimately, that if they come out there not giving a shit, then or playing like they're either like they're playing like it's the preseason, but it's not. The games count. So at some point, my concern is this, and this isn't like a meltdown. And I don't think the season's over or anything like that. But at some point, you're going to wake up one day and it's going to be very hard to get yourself into the mode that, okay, now it matters when you have spent the first 3 weeks of the season pretending like it doesn't. And the final thing is like, I think it doesn't matter in the big picture, but I think Daryl Morey should say something about how fucking bad they look.
Probably.
Instead of Nick Nurse dealing with it every time.
And Nick's obviously not doing a good job of it.
What's that?
Nick is handling it poorly. It's not
Very
like
poorly.
Nick is Brett Brown being like, well, you know, it's this. He's making jokes and taking it easy. It's like he is irritated and irritable, and not really giving answers and sort of blaming the media a little bit. In a way, it's just like, just come on, man. That's not a good look. Nothing's a good look. You're 2-10.
Yeah, like this is not the time for, boy, people around here really don't get it. Fuck off, man. Like, this is, even if you didn't spend 1 cent watching this team, if you take the 12 games and say it is 2.5 hours each time, that is more than a day of your life spent watching this dog shit.
All right, let's not do math here. Let's think about how much time it does. Come on.
Just like they need to start acting like this matters, and it would feel nice if one of the players after the game was like, hey, this bullshit, I know we just got together, I know Joel just got back, I know, but this is not cool, and this is not okay. And it would feel better if they acted that way. Yeah,
the Magic are a tough team to play because they play with such aggression. They're so in your face. Jalen Suggs really sets the tone for the kind of style of defense and in transition that they play. And watching them send like double after double of different guys from different parts of the court at Joel, and him kind of just pivoting and kind of looking and not finding the guy quick enough, him getting overwhelmed by that. I mean, it's good for him to be tested like that, but it is like, dude, this is how they're going to play you. And there shouldn't be, with as good as McCain has played and as good of a shooter he is off the catch, McCain, Paul George, Embiid should be enough to win this game.
Yes.
86 points is pretty unacceptable.
Yeah.
And just watching them be the slower, more lackadaisical team. Now it's on the one hand like good to see that, like, hey, they're 2-10. They're not fighting on the sidelines. There's no panic in them. Well, like a little bit of panic.
Yes.
Like a little bit of panic is probably pretty good. A little bit of like desperation. A little bit of playing like, hey, this is the season. This is your season. And yeah, they just got to string a couple wins together, because every game I watch, I'm like, it really is. When I watch a game live, I'm like, win. This is their goal. And when I'm watching a game on delay, I'm like, oh, look at this nice little play here.
Right.
Look at this nice little play in a game that they lost. That's okay. And it's just, we just got to get back to winning, because every game feels like an impossible task to just come out with a win.
Well, and I think we've said this, and I said this with AU the other night, is that it's true that you can watch the game and see, this is your point, see Yabusele doing some stuff, and you're like, ooh, and you see, Oubre looking the way he should for a quarter, and you're like, oh, I can see it, but I'm starting to like not be able to see it every game that goes by. It has to start working. And they have to win games, because the rest of the conference stinks thing is only going to last so long. You're part of the conference. So you stink too, and you stink worse than every team in the conference but Toronto. So, and who knows if you will be equal with them on Monday or whatever after we play Miami. So that and I want to can we do the non-McCain stuff first and then just do the McCain stuff? Because I'd love to keep McCain stuff sort of.
Sure.
Well, before we get to the rest of the players, Embiid, are you beyond being irritated that he is not further along at this point? Is there any sort of concern that he isn't jumping for rebounds, really? He isn't is there concern that there's some real deterioration here beyond just not being in shape?
I'm not ready to say that yet. It doesn't look so different from how it normally looks at this time. Like he's gotten up a couple times to block shots and affect shots at the rim. Like he hasn't looked bad on defense for the most part. defending in space a little bit sometimes still. That's longer to go. But he tends to be there around the rim on defense and make his impact felt, even when he's not in the shape that he's supposed to be in, more than he is on offense, where if he can't explode past anybody, if his handle and his like footwork is not quite right yet because he doesn't trust the knee or the brace or whatever it is, that comes along later. So I'm expecting that it's going to be there, and this is just sort of like the frustrating experience with Joel when he's coming off of a long layoff and getting used to playing. But I do think it's worth saying, like the Cavs, these guys have been playing together for a really long time. This core group, like there's no new additions. The new addition on the Cavs is the coach. There's no new additions to the Cavs this year, and they're missing a couple of their role players, Max Strus, whatever. But like, they're just guys that play well with each other right now, that know where they're going to be, that know how they're going to score, that know how they're going to defend. And there's so many breakdowns on both ends with the Sixers. The other team's getting wide open shots. Sometimes on offense, they're running into each other. I think it was against the Cavs where Paul George just sort of like, or maybe against the Knicks, he just ran into Embiid and then turned it over in sort of like a really like video game-esque where you're running and then a player just sort of crumples to the ground. That happened in college hoops 2K7 and 2K8 a lot, where a guy would just like crumple to the ground on offense and you're like, don't crumple. He's just crumpling. And that was a frustrating moment, but they're just like, they don't know where they're going to be. And for as much as you would think like you're professionals, like a lot of offenses just stand in the corner. Nick Nurse isn't running complicated stuff. There's little stuff where you're just expecting them to be in this place, and there's just they haven't built up that level of familiarity yet. And that plus the injuries, plus the fact that like they're still missing a lot of threes, and it's all of it is working out poorly, and they just need to fully turn it around like as a cohesive unit.
Before we get to the other players on the team, real quick, 2 new pieces of Ricky merch available for pre-order until Wednesday the 20th, midnight. 2 shirts, one Oasis themed, just being clear about it, and one is Death Row Records themed. Here's the Oasis one the other one's the Oasis one. There you go. On our first tie-dye since the bubble. And they're both available at Shibe Vintage Sports. It's only pre-order though, so we do pre-order. They won't be available after the pre-order, so you got to do the pre-order. There's this one, the Oasis one, and then the Death Row Records one, both done by our buddy Tanner Lowry. Both available. The Death Row Records one is Comfort Colors Ivory, which is my favorite T-shirt in the world, by the way. Both available now. Links in the description. Pre-order until Wednesday. Yabusele has been, like, I think just about as good as you could have hoped for in just about every way. I think we'll know more by the middle of the season what kind of shooter he actually is. He's gone through a stretch where he looked like, oh, he can do this. There's a stretch where nothing goes in. He always looks willing, but he seems like a 25-minute player, even when they're whole, like that he's going to have to be on the court a lot. That's the vibe I get watching him. Yeah.
I mean, it was cool seeing him play with Joel at the 4. That's obviously a strength of his. Is as nice of an option as it is to get him as a small ball 5, and when the offense looks good and he can pick and pop and also roll off of it, that's really nice. They're struggling. They're working so hard on defense to try to survive those minutes when he's at the 5, and so it's cool to see him do that. True shooting percentage almost at 60%. I've loved the passing, man. I've just loved as far as like him replacing Nick Batum, Thick Batum. It's just been nice to see like a guy who can move the ball and think quickly and keeps moving. It's just that type of style of play has been really welcome on this team, alongside Maxey when he was healthy, and now with McCain. It's just been really, really nice. And I that's the frustrating part, is because I'm looking at the roster. I look at like the rotation, and I think, obviously Embiid, Maxey, Paul George, now obviously add McCain of how well he's playing, Yabusele. I still really like what Caleb Martin and Kelly Oubre are going to bring to this team. I've seen enough flashes. Obviously, we know Kelly, and when everybody's healthy, I do think they're going to be really good. The shooting with Caleb is still, a weird concern, but how could
Pretty
there not
ugly.
be one weird concern about a shot?
They're going in more now, but they still look. It takes forever for the shot to get off. He shoots pretty low.
Yeah,
actually, yeah, it's ugly.
It's bizarre. But so you look at those, and that's like 7 or 8 guys already. I love what Kyle Lowry brings to this team.
He seems kind of washed, man.
And you just got to monitor minutes.
Yeah.
I do think Eric Gordon is going to be useful as far as like it just hit deep threes, stretch the floor. That's the thing. Is like last night when Eric Gordon hasn't been good, and if they have to cover Eric Gordon 28 feet away from the basket, that gives Joel so much more space than if they're covering, Yabusele 17 feet away from the basket because they know he can get to him. That's such a big stretch of like where they need to cover like a Yabusele or a Caleb Martin type from versus where Eric Gordon can shoot it. So that's the value there, and he just has to deliver more. So I still see a lot of the help that people are going to. I still really like what KJ Martin's done this season. Like I like the rotation. I like the options that they have. And it's not for me as simple as going to Nick Nurse and be like, stop playing this guy entirely and play these guys and you will succeed. Like I just don't. That's not as simple of an answer to me. I like what Jeff Doughton's brought to the table. I mean, Reggie Jackson had a really good game against the Cavs. That was nice to see. I really have been quite disappointed with how Ricky Council has looked in limited minutes.
Dude, he's a disaster.
Yeah.
He thinks it's time to cook every time he gets in the game in a way that they eventually pushed out of B-ball. But I don't even think B-ball was as wild as Council when he gets in there. Yeah. It's like he's trying to fit 100 minutes worth of basketball into 30 seconds and prove he can do everything. And it looks like when he tries to prove he can do everything, it looks like he can't do anything.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. This is why I wasn't high on him coming out of college. It's can you play within a team concept? And he seemed to understand that, he popped as a rookie, obviously can get to the line, athleticism off the charts, can handle, can make plays, funky stuff as on drives, like all that stuff. But it's like he seems to know that he's going to need to hit catch and shoot threes in order to play, basketball at this level on a good team. And it just doesn't seem to look like his feet are wrong on the catch and shoot. He just doesn't it doesn't establish a solid base. His hands are weird. And he's just kind of scattered and all over the place. Sometimes he looks like he's playing on skates. And so I'm bummed. Hopefully that, he'll settle in and stop trying to do so much in those couple minutes, like you said, when he gets in. But to me, it's just more than a rotation issue. And it's much more of you guys need to all play together and be working towards the same like goal and types of shots and move the ball. And there's signs I see of that, but it's really just like, Paul George can't shoot 4 of 15 and Embiid can't shoot 5 of 15 and turn the ball over as much as they did. Like be better, just be better.
Yeah. And show, this sounds very, I don't know, sounds dumber than it actually is. I think it show like some urgency here.
Yeah.
That you don't want to wake up and have the season having slipped away 30 games in. Yeah. It's not going to slip away 12 games in, but 30 games in.
Yeah.
If they are, 6-14 or 6-24 or some bullshit, they got
to go like 12-6 or something in the next stretch just to at least get closer. I mean, 2-10 that's just really bad. I don't know that anyone was going to disagree with that, but like it is. There's 70 games left of the season, so you probably have to go like 45-25.
Yeah,
and that's
gonna be tough.
That's a steep task.
What you really have to do is they have to win 40 more games. I mean, to be comfortably in the 7 seed or something, you're gonna have to win 40 more games. You're gonna have to be over 500.
Yeah, more. I think closer to 45 than 40 to be in the 7 seed. If you're 42 and 40, you might be in the 9.
Oh, really?
And it's tough to have to win 2. You got to be in the 7-8. Give yourself 2 chances to win rather than having to win twice.
Yeah, and that's going to be, by the way, that's going to be a tough putt. That record is going to be a tough. Now, and I kept being convinced that at some point we will, we're gonna be like, oh man, this team's actually awesome. And I just want to not be I want to be better than the Pistons.
Sure. I guess that's such a good short-term goal.
That's all. I just want to be fucking better than the Pistons. All right, we'll get to Jared McCain right after we tell you about Briggs Auction, the official auction of the Ricky, a four-generation family-owned and operated auction house right there in Delco. Now, I say it's in Delco because that means something to us because of where I'm from, where the pod is from. But everything's done online except for pickup. You download the app in Google Play or the App Store. You go to Briggs Auction. You check every single week, and you get to hear about CJ's Briggs auction item of the week.
Yeah, so this collection, the November 22nd special collection, is tools. We have another tools lot.
Okay.
So conveniently, I just built, right by my desk, I built 6 shelves out of wood.
You built them?
Yeah, cut them.
Fucking show off.
I got the braces, the corner braces on to put them up to the wall. But my drill bit isn't very long. Like, I don't have like too many tools.
Yeah.
So I saw this. This would really help me out.
It's just like a collection of drill bits and stuff.
It's a bunch of drill bits, but specifically, if I had this, I think it's a bit holder is what it's called, but the extender to where it could go into the wall and your drill is not as close as it needs to be. You have some space, some leverage, would have helped me out a lot building my shelves. And it's only 10 beans right now, and there's so many tools in here that are still in the package. So,
dude, I'm actually looking at it now. Craftsman circular saw. I'd love to have. I don't know what I would do with a circular saw, but I'd love to have one.
There's so many like industrial sized tools and machinery in this collection.
Yeah. Now I see there's paintbrushes in there too. Now, most of the time, the auctions are actually really cool. Sometimes they're specialized like this. There's a tools one. Occasionally you'll see they'll have the sports collectibles one. But a lot of times, whether it's an estate auction or a discovery auction, there's all different stuff from art to collectibles to furniture that you're not going to find anywhere else, to clothing, to jewelry, all that kind of stuff. And a lot of the lots start at $1. What I always say about Briggs Auction is it is the home of stuff that you never knew you needed until you see it. You're like, ooh, I could really use that. So check in once a week or so. Go to briggsauction.com, download the app in Google Play or the App Store. If you win an auction, there's open pickup on Saturdays. You can make an appointment during the week, or they can work with you on a shipper. If you want to sell a bunch of stuff, I don't know, do you have 500 lots worth of tools? Something like that? Send an email to info@briggsauction.com. Briggs Auction, the official auction of the Ricky. Okay, Jared McCain. Now, if I could bring you back to the Ricky of October 14th, before the season started, I played you this clip from Light Years, the Warriors podcast, from my friend Sam Esfandiari. And here's what he said. Somebody who's been watching.
Is Maxey the best player on that team? Maybe, but he'll never get the ball in.
Jared McCain is my man. My hot take is McCain will be better than Maxey in 4 years. That's I'm very Jared McCain is potentially the first true Steph disciple. That's my take.
Not Reed Shepherd.
Oh, okay, sorry. Same draft. They're both they both do the subtle nuance on off-ball stuff that Steph does, as opposed to the Trae Young, I want to do only the flashy stuff he does. They both play like guys who actually studied how Steph moves off ball, how he rotates between the two, how he uses his gravity to impact the game. I'm not saying either of them will be him, but like, you know what I mean when it looks like someone's actually doing the little things he does versus someone's like, I'm pulling up from 30 because I'm Steph.
So then last night there's this fucking play, and you see them a lot, but there's this play in the third quarter.
Went up, Martin batted it, it bounces to Lowry. Here's McCain, Jared to his left, the kick. McCain, a reset triple. Jared McCain. Dude,
that was as Steph a fucking play as you can see. So if you're just listening to it, McCain drives into the lane, kicks it to the corner. Well, by the way, a nice little sort of like moving the ball within the lane to not get it knocked out, kicks it to George in the corner, immediately relocates to the wing and catches the ball, shoots a three, and fucking money.
Yeah. He gets square so quickly on those resets.
Dude, he's so good. I don't know. I've been wrong about players, obviously, before. I don't know if I've ever been this wrong about a player. He is, I know when a team is bad, somebody's got to score, but you can fucking see it. He is good.
Yeah. I mean, yes, he's so much better right away than I thought he would be. I just really was worried that he would not be able to get his shot off at the NBA level.
But he can.
And he can. And I mean, just like he gets by people, his constant movement, and he's got little like to be herky-jerky, which he is on drives, and physical, and also constantly moving around the perimeter and also cutting through. It's just really nice. I mean, like, my instinct is to talk about like, yeah, like around the rim, he will struggle. It's good to see him throw down a dunk last night. That was fun with Maxey on the mic at the time. You know, he's going to go up and have a little bit of like, oh, he's overwhelmed athletically by Franz Wagner or John Isaac or whatever. But like, yeah, that kind of play, he does that all the time. There was one play in, was it the Cleveland game? Maybe the Knicks game, where he's in the corner, he dumps it into Andre Drummond, and then acts like he's into the post, kind of like long post along the baseline. And then he's going to cut through the lane and then just kind of backs out and basically demands Drummond give him the ball back right in that corner again. And he gets it and hits a three with like a no dip release. And it's just, he does a lot of really special stuff, man. Obviously.
And by the way, he's got motherfucker in him right away. Like last night, I don't think he took a shot in the first quarter, but then when he got back in the game, he was immediately like, oh, okay, this team needs me to be good. And you could, as soon as he was off the court, I was dying. I was like, get him back in the game.
I mean, he's a plus 13 in the game that they lose by 12 in 31 minutes. He fouls out. 5 of 10 from 3. Yeah, I mean, he moves the ball. He gets paint touches, which is huge. He moves the ball quickly, and he both moves himself quickly. And having him as a high IQ passer, a quick decision passer, he can get the ball into the post to Joel pretty quick, more than most guys can. He's just constantly, like Sam's right, he's doing the little things to like make offense go. And I've loved. He also has that little sort of De'Aaron Fox has the little not post up, but kind of mid-range turnarounds.
Yes.
That he can get into in the like mid paint. And he's just got such nice touch there.
Also Brunson-esque a little bit too. Yeah.
Yeah. He just is really, really good, and he's so much better than I thought he was. And I think the lesson here on a draft level is like, if someone is as a freshman playing very good high level basketball for a high level program in Duke, like they're probably going to be very good. If they can do it as a freshman at that level, they're probably going to succeed in the NBA. And I was worried that it wouldn't. I was worried that athletically and size wise he would fail, and more often than not. And he's just really good. So already like way outperforming his draft pick, which is crazy. And we've talked about him being like trade bait. And I now at this point, like getting him on a rookie contract with how much you're paying Maxey, Embiid, and Paul George, like he's like, you have to start thinking about him being like untradeable in that sense.
So yeah, we got this email from Henry to Rights to Ricky Sanchez.
Which is crazy.
Yes.
Which is crazy for that to happen this fast.
So it's to Rights to Ricky Sanchez at gmail.com. Hi, Spike, Mike, CJ, and mostly Daryl. Plenty of scuttlebutt about whether McCain has earned regular season rotation minutes or even starter minutes. Personally, I think he's shown he can give seriously valuable minutes, whether starting or not. So neither here nor there on the starting conversation. But is he playing himself into an untouchable in trade talks guy? Keen to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, I just if they trade McCain for like, at this point, I was like, oh man, they could get Dorian Finney-Smith.
No, got to be.
And now we're just like, you can't trade Jared McCain for like half a season to somebody. And like, if the Phillies traded like Aiden Miller for like in that Austin Hayes deal, I would have like jumped off a bridge. Right. Like he's just really good, and he has to be part of your future plans. Now, I don't know what him and Maxey as a pairing is going to look like
it's very small.
Like high level basketball. They're small. They both can play on or off ball, which I think is really helpful. I do think offensively it is going to work, but they really need to, as a team, take care of business on defense and rebounding. Now, McCain's a pretty good rebounder for his size in a cool way.
He's already not a bad defender either. Like he's
just
short.
small, man.
Yeah,
and he's gonna learn. He's gonna learn. Like I think he projects out. I don't think he played good defense last night. He'll get his hands in there, and he'll like rotate over and make like the right team plays. But he's got to figure out, and it's cool to watch him and Lowry talk on the bench. He's just got to figure out how to leverage his sturdiness, fire hydrantness to keep guys in front of him. And he's better right now against bigger defenders that are surprised that he is as sturdy as he is than he is against like very fast defenders that can blow by him, like a Donovan Mitchell or something like that. And it's just going to be he's so good offensively, and him and Maxey could project out to be so good together offensively because of how quickly he gets the ball off. Like he's so fast to get set and score. Like think about when the ball gets swung to Lowry, who he's gotten cold from three, but obviously rises
he can't
up
get
and
by
can do it
anybody anymore.
He still does a little bit. He still gets sturdy and gets inside, whatever. But like I'm just talking about for three, when the ball gets swung to somebody on the perimeter and there's like limited space to do it. Eric Gordon can get it off quickly if he's exactly set, but McCain gets it off so fast.
Well, you mentioned he can square his feet very quickly.
He does his work early. He's right there. He doesn't need to dip. He doesn't have a long release point. I mean, he's not Steph in that sense. Like the Steph release is unlike anyone that's ever played a sport. But as far as humans go, McCain is really, really quick with that, and that opens things up because, like, even there was a thing last night where Joel and McCain have only played 2 games together, and it's the kind of discipline and focus that I've always talked about with Joel as a passer, where if he gets the ball into McCain's shooting pocket or even close to it, then that shot's going up. And if he throws it at his shoelaces or makes him like stretch over it, then he's not. That's a missed opportunity. Like those kinds of passes need to be more on point, and that's part of that is Joel being like out of shape, where he starts to like on the fringes, on the little things just get a little bit worse. The little things just get a little bit off target, kind of thing. Like a rebound that he would get to if he was healthy, if he was fully optimized, a pass that he would make if he was not huffing and puffing. But Jared McCain's going to make everybody's life easier. And it's going to be really interesting to see when there's a lineup of Maxey, McCain, Paul George, Embiid, and then pick your 4, whether it's Oubre or Yabu or whatever.
Yeah.
Like that's a really, really compelling lineup. I'm so excited to see what McCain looks like against better teams, against better defenses, when the defense is not being targeted onto him and he's just
we can just
a
run
catch
around
and shoot threat and run around. Like I think that's going to be huge. The fact that he can play on or off ball. I'm really excited to see what McCain looks like in the playoffs. Like when it gets tough, he's going to fail sometimes, but like he's really good really early. He was a freshman last year at Duke. Like this is crazy, dog. This is like really, really, this is so good. And so I think 2-10 is 2-10. Maxey will hopefully be back sometime this week.
This probably doesn't happen if all this stuff doesn't go wrong.
Maybe. I mean, they were talking about how good he looked in camp, and I thought I was like, this is spin. But like,
remember, Nurse was playing Downton over him. Nurse didn't even mention him when Maxey got hurt as somebody who was going to be added to the rotation. So I don't think Nurse was dying to put him in there.
No, but he's forced his way in.
Yeah,
and it's been really very cool. He's so much better than I thought he'd be right now. And so there's a lot to like about the situation. It projects positively. McCain being this good at his price tag for 4 years on a rookie contract is so much more valuable than 95% of the power forward options they get that might work out. Like I think he's played himself into like you kind of can't trade him because of how this year and going forward he is going to be so valuable. And do I think he's going to be better than Maxey in 4 years? Probably not, but he might be better than Maxey as a rookie.
Yes, he is.
And that's wild. I mean, Maxey's speed plus shooting is his game breaking, but like McCain's shooting plus his
Passing.
quick decision. The passing is great.
Yeah.
It's not surreal. It's not manipulating type thing, but it is
average.
It's above average, and it's just like incredibly competent and keeping his head up and seeing guys and touching the paint and knowing he needs to move it. Like, he does that better than Maxey, just getting into the paint, feeling the defense collapse onto him, and then moving it onto somebody. It's good. So I think that's why, if you can ignore the record, just ignore it. Overall, the fact that in a week, unless something bad happens, which obviously it will, Maxey, Embiid, and George are going to be healthy together. They're going to be working through this stuff together. And Jared McCain is as good as he's been. Yabusele is as good as he's been. Things will fall into place. For 2-10, I kind of feel as good as I could possibly feel. You know what I mean?
All right. Well, then I have a potentially difficult question for you then.
Okay.
That you're not gonna answer, but I'm gonna make you answer. You might answer. So I don't know. First we'll talk about Big Barker, then I'll give you this difficult question.
Okay.
Writes the Ricky Sanchez podcast, brought to you by Big Barker Therapeutic Dog Beds. I have 2 dogs that sleep on Big Barkers. Scotchy is only 4, and she only started sleeping on a Big Barker 6 months ago. But Rebel is 10 and a half and been sleeping on a Big Barker almost his whole life. If you've seen Rebel, he runs around like fucking crazy, and he's almost 11 years old. And I think part of that is because he sleeps on a Big Barker. Go to bigbarker.com/Ricky. That is bigbarker.com/Ricky. You go there, you get you learn more about all this, because I'm going to tell you about it, but you'll learn more. But if you go there, you also get the Process Pup patches. You get a black and white one, red, white, and blue one. You get some stickers. And also, when you get the bed and your dog's sleeping on it, you send us a picture of your dog on the bed with the patch on it. We'll put them up on social media. It becomes an official Process Pup. But the difference with Big Barker, and that's why I bring up Rebel and how active he is that it is engineered to keep your dog healthier. And as your dog gets older, arthritis comes in, the joints get creaky, just like humans. And your bed is a major, major part of that sort of stuff, just like it is for a human. If you sleep on a bad mattress, you're going to feel worse. If a dog sleeps on a bad mattress, that dog is going to feel worse. Your dog does not know how to speak to you. Your dog can't tell you the mattress doesn't feel good. And most times, dog bed's not even a mattress. It's a big, fluffy-looking pillow. Big Barker's different. It's sturdy. You can see it when you look at it. All of this stuff that I'm saying about the impact that it has on your dog, and you want your dog to be as healthy as possible for as long as possible, was proven by a study at Penn Vet that showed improvements in joint function, reduction in pain severity, reduction in joint stiffness, improvement in gait. All of those things are absolutely real. Comes in all different colors, all different sizes, for your tiny dog all the way up to a giant dog, and it'll make a difference. I just know it will. A 10-year warranty, the foam doesn't flatten or they replace it for free. A 1-year at-home trial. If your dog won't sleep on it, which it is possible, you can send it back, get a full refund. They'll even pay for the shipping. Handmade in the USA. Big Barker Dog Beds.
Woo! One more thing about McCain.
Yeah, and this is going to be about McCain, my difficult question for you. Okay, go ahead.
The thing that Maxey was so special at in his first few seasons, and still to this day, is having the ball in his hands as much as he does and not turning it over. And McCain is doing the same thing. He has Maxey as a rookie, 19.9% assist rate, 8.2% turnover rate. McCain as a rookie so far, 24.7% assist rate, higher than Maxey, 7.1% turnover rate, lower than Maxey, which is crazy. I mean, it's crazy to be doing that. And so that's just special. There's a chance he's fucking rookie of the year.
Yes. He's the favorite. He's the betting favorite.
Coming out as a freshman, 16th pick, like, to a team that is not contending now, but like contending with quotes. And that's insane. I mean, you can't not play him. He is completely unbenchable at this point. And
he is plus 230 at DraftKings to be rookie of the year. Edie is plus 500.
Yeah.
Carrington plus 700. So yeah, he's the favorite.
Leading the class in points per game, in box plus minus. I mean, he's just it's unbelievable that they hit on him as Maxey hitting at 20 was so crazy. And
hitting this at 16
at 21,
is just
sorry.
as crazy.
And hitting this at 16 is just as crazy. Like these are franchise saving picks
Yes.
that they have made. And it's like freshman guards from big programs. Not too similar games, but like that is special, and the ability to do that and how lucky the organization should feel is wild. So I think they've extended this era, Joel's prime, the entire thing has been extended, and it's just really like when that stuff works, you really just got to get Joel right. And now that Paul George is here, you got to get Paul George right. And then it's really on Nick Nurse, and I have been not on a rotation level, but on just like a creativity level, been disappointed with Nurse for things to be as bad as they are when some things have been as good as they could, more good than we could expect, you know?
Yes, I agree with you. So here is the
difficult question. Yeah.
Well, if you had to trade one, would you trade McCain or Maxey?
Oh, well, you don't have to trade one.
But let's say you did.
The
perfect player.
There's not a player that I think would, let me just stipulate. There's not a player that this team could get for either of them that is so perfect that I would trade either of them for them at this point. Like, well, invent a player that would fit into this better than, yeah. Like,
I will. Well, here's the thing that thinking about Maxey opens up for you is a player who's making $40 million.
Yeah.
Because I know people are getting mad. I'm not advocating for this.
Sure. This is just how good McCain has been through 10 games. Right.
So, and I'm aware it's only 10 games and blah, blah, blah. But I do see things that McCain does that are better than Maxey in terms of his specific skill set.
Yeah.
Maxey does some things better, but McCain is definitely a better passer. McCain has more than one speed, and Tyrese seems like he just has one speed. Okay.
Yeah.
So, and it does open up if there were a very high level player being able to have your starting guard making a rookie salary for the next 4 years or whatever. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, what if Giannis asked out of Milwaukee and you said you could have 4 firsts and Tyrese Maxey for Giannis?
I mean, that's crazy.
Because when you think about it, your other suitors are going to be Brooklyn, OKC. So
for Giannis?
Yeah, probably. Who have enough draft picks to do it. So OKC.
This feels fan fiction in a way that I'm like, I don't know.
Well, I'm just saying, at OKC, just to play devil's advocate, I'd say, well, does that really work with Shea? Like, isn't it better if Shea is so ball dominant that even though he's hurt for 2 months, Chet's better fit, whatever. Brooklyn, I would say our picks are probably better because there's the 2 Clippers picks there. And we have more of a team that is more ready to win than Brooklyn does. So if it were this offseason and Milwaukee's like, look, we're restarting, we're going to trade Dame, we're going to trade Giannis, Giannis wants out, even middle of the season, I don't know. We're talking about a power forward, right? And my argument would be that, because the argument against it would be, okay, you're getting older, and you're also, how is that going to fit with Embiid and Giannis? But then I would say, well, it sort of fit with Ben, and Ben was like the worst version of Giannis. So if we could make it fit with Ben, and Giannis is way better. Giannis hasn't even turned 30 yet. And he is one of the 5 best players in the league.
It's crazy. I don't know. It's like making me like itch. the conversation. Look, I hear the thought.
Yeah.
To me, it is the kinds of stuff that Maxey and McCain can do together are like, it's, I think, harder to get together at this level with Paul George and Embiid already like planted in there, where I just would much rather take those 4 picks and stack contracts together and try to trade for the exact kind of perfect player to fit with those 4 guys than I would try to maximize value on one of them now, and in the sense that you'd think that you can't make it work between them.
Okay. So
I think
you're not going to pick?
I hear it on I would probably say McCain.
Okay.
Like
All right.
it's been 10 games.
Okay. Sure.
I think there is certainly a level of like, okay, the shooting could fall off a little bit. He's hitting at an unsustainable rate right now. He was cold before that. Finishing at the rim is still kind of complicated. Where is he going to land defensively? Maxey, at least. Maxey is stronger than McCain right now. McCain projects to be stronger on like a full body base level, but Maxey can move his feet quicker than McCain can on defense. So I think right now, for trying to win a championship now purposes go, McCain as a centerpiece of a deal for the perfect player. I wouldn't do it. Like in the McCain world, like he's so good right now and looking so good that you wouldn't have to add those 4 picks or whatever for him. You know what I mean? Sure. It would be stacking him to the KJ Martin contract and whatever.
Yeah,
I don't want to do any of that. I don't want to do it.
Giannis is making $40 million.
No, I know. Giannis, even you saying Giannis, it's so...
Durant?
This is crazy. This is crazy. You're saying crazy shit. You're like, it's like making me blush. Like it's the idea. It's very good. I want to see them all play together. I don't want to be hasty. You know, I think on some level, our friend AU will never recover from Landry Shamet being traded at such a young age.
By the way, AU hates Paul George. We learned on the last pod. He won't outright say it, but he hates Paul George. And he would not trade Maxey for Giannis.
But that's the kind of thing where you, like, McCain being this kind of player, both a killer that can take over the offense and also like a glue guy that moves the ball and makes everybody easier and can shoot off the catch. Like, you really just need a 4 that, you know, the perfect 4 on this team where you put Maxey, McCain, Paul George, Embiid. The perfect person to put as the 5th guy in that rotation is OG Anunoby. Like that kind of player, long, like cuts hard, attacks hard, can hit shots off the catch, and is like a total like shutdown wing that you can put on anybody and like eat their lunch. And so, you know, Oubre can cosplay as that sometimes. Caleb Martin puts in effort and I think is a helpful player there. Yabusele is going to be nice this season in there, but like McCain has been so good that it's saving the first, 12 games of the season and projecting out of like how good this could possibly be. and Daryl and Elton front office like should be just really scouring the league for like what can we do to find that 5th guy? And maybe that involves like a Caleb Martin trade or whatever it is. Like, who can you get to be that OG Anunoby type here in this spot? Who can we trade for where then they can build out together and this can be like the core of Sixers basketball for the next at least 4 years, the rest of Joel's prime, really. And it's going to take time. Like Maxey and McCain they have to play together. These guys have to all play together. Like if they can get to 45 wins by the end of the season and they're the 7 seed and they're gelling at the right time and they've picked up another piece to be this thing, then I feel good about it. But if it's like, oh, Paul George misses a month, Embiid misses a month and a half, like that kind of thing, then it's really you don't want to waste a year because there's not that many. McCain being this good, just like Maxey being as good as he was right away, just McCain is as good right away. There's not many years left. There's just not many years left, and you just have to. You can't punt. You just cannot punt. But that also, you can't trade McCain because there's something special happening here, and you got to see it all together. Now that I brought up Landry Shamet, not that Landry Shamet he had a nice little rookie year, and he's turned into just like a kind of a journeyman nothing player. But like, I think if you asked AU, it would have been different if they never traded him. But there's a special. Look, it's fun to talk about fucking Giannis and Durant and that kind of thing, but like let's see what we got.
Okay.
Let's not be hasty. I would much rather add a 5th special thing than
just a thought experiment. And you couldn't trade Maxey until middle of January anyway. So
this is freaking me out, man. This is fucking I have to go lay down.
You want me to let me bring it back home. So you weren't on the last pod, but we actually have new information here. One, we have a potential new nickname for Yabusele, but then you didn't get to hear the Yabusele song.
Okay.
And they're both. So here is the nickname idea, the return of Weekly Becky to 833 Lickface.
I believe that Gershon Yabusele has the biggest boat inside of him of any Sixer to ever have a boat inside of them. And I therefore propose the nickname the Yacht. I don't know, like Gershon the Yacht, Yabusele, Yacht Busele. Probably this is bad, but in general, I'm feeling a lack of fun nicknames with the departure of B-Ball Paul. So maybe this could more so be a departure point for brainstorming some nicknames for Jared McCain, our baby boy wonder child, or anyone really. Okay, Weekly Becky signing off. Bye-bye.
What do you think of the nickname the Yacht?
It's interesting. I'm not a big nickname giver.
Yeah.
When I was on my honeymoon in Nice, France, which is in the south of France, there was a bunch of yachts there, so that does work on that level.
Oh yeah,
for Yabu.
French. Yep.
I think I can let it marinate. I think it's pretty interesting.
All right, and then here you did not get to hear this, but
I thought Becky was going to sing.
What? No, there's a different singer, and this is so Ricky, and it's so joyous. Yabusele's nickname is Dancing Bear, and somebody suggested that there could be, like we had with Trevelyan Queen, being Caribbean Queen, that somebody could do Dancing Queen.
Sure.
Well, here we go.
Friday night with the Sixers on, looking out for my boy Gershon. Hear that Sixers music, a win against the Kings. You are the dancing bear. And when you get the ball, you are the dancing bear. Shooting threes, ways to 70. Dancing bear.
So tough.
Feel the D on the wings, oh yeah.
That's okay.
You can guard, you can shoot.
The pauses.
Maury's having the time of his life. Ooh, 3 and D. In the paint, Gershon Yabusele. Dancing bear, Gershon Yabusele.
The true commitment, way too long, and Mike, your thoughts?
I mean, great. Great. Added to the song rotation here.
And did you see, and last thing, did you see Keith Pompey?
I was hoping we got to talk about this.
Okay. CJ, can you find this clip? Because, it's possible people didn't listen to the previous pod.
Keith.
And this is a Canadian basketball podcast.
Keith.
Hold on. I didn't name it last time, and I actually feel really bad about that. Hold on.
It's the Hello Welcome pod.
There we go. The Hello Welcome podcast. That is no disrespect, me not knowing it. I just didn't know. So Hello Welcome podcast. So here is the clip in case you have not seen it.
Keith.
Another executive one. So Brian Colangelo comes in. Ringer publishes an article basically saying that Colangelo's wife was running a burner account on Twitter. This leads to Colangelo leaving the organization.
We haven't even heard from Brian Colangelo ever since.
Yeah, out of 10.
He's literally out the NBA.
Yeah,
I
out of 10.
don't want to give everything a 10, but that was crazy.
That's
too.
a 10.
You
man.
can give them, you can give 11s too if you
that
want.
Was a crazy. That was a crazy one. But the crazy part is like the account. The people used to like reach out to me.
Oh really?
Like that was one of my best sources all the time. Yo, it was crazy. Yo, that was one of my best sources. And then look. So when he got caught, I was like,
damn,
I was mad. I was like, it was kind of like,
damn,
such and such is going to happen today. And so I would like write it.
Yeah, man.
And like, at first you would verify it, right?
Yeah, of course.
Right. And then, all of a sudden you're like,
Oh, this is a credible source, so you're getting everything.
Oh, how come nobody's upset? Stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's
Like,
amazing.
Yeah. I was upset.
So, I mean, that's
Keith.
an all-timer.
Keith!
Don't you love that he realized what he was saying, and then he
Yeah.
said, "Of course, I
you
would verify." it."
yeah. Well, yeah. Oh, I mean, yeah, of course.
Of course, I wouldn't just take scoops from an anonymous Twitter account and write it. Yeah, I would just write it, and it would
That's
be
so funny.
nobody would be mad.
That's so funny, man. It's so funny to be like, to just not question it. Yeah. Somebody sent me something. I push it.
I just write it.
And that doesn't bother me if there's an agenda. Tobias Harris's dad. It's great. Where's that happening? Why
it
was
looks like they
Keith
were on
outside
vacation together?
Did he fly there for the
Yeah,
podcast?
I don't know where that would have happened. I wonder if it was at Summer League or something.
Yeah, it could be.
Oh, no,
Really-
LA. I bet they were in LA. They had to be in LA. I wonder if the Raptors were playing in LA at a similar time that we were doing a West Coast thing. Maybe that's it.
And those guys are like, gotta talk to Keith about Colangelo. What a scoop. Hilarious. It's really good. Keith is a giver, and he just keeps giving us these little gifts.
Yep.
I can't believe he was just like annoyed.
By the way,
Just be annoyed.
That's what happened. The Raptors were there last week, so I bet it was in LA. That would be my guess.
For Burnagate to happen, and Keith's reaction to be, damn. That's a source. It's so funny.
It is.
And him saying like they.
Yeah.
They in the account were sending me stuff.
Yep.
Oh man.
It's a good one.
We're still never think you can't learn more. You think it was this many years ago? Whatever, 6?
Yep, but there's always more to learn.
And there's more to learn, and probably hopefully more still.
Yep. All right. Well, I don't think we're back till Thursday. I think that's our next pod. So we play Miami on Monday. And then, by the way, of any player, this is a very funny fact, of any player who has plays at least 15 minutes a game for the Sixers, the highest plus minus is Eric Gordon. So Sixers at the Heat on Monday, then at the Grizzlies on Wednesday, and then our next NBA Cup game, which who even cares about that? Who even knows? Is the Nets on the 22nd. And then, of course, the Sixers play the same time as the Eagles and the Rams on the 24th. So.
Yeah. They got to win some games.
Yeah.
And they're playing teams that will play hard. Miami plays hard. The Grizzlies play hard.
Yep.
You just got to string some
Brooklyn plays hard, by the way.
You just got to string some wins together.
Yeah.
Like, they got to take it personally. They got to beat
Grow
the
up.
aggressor. But Jared McCain. That's what we got.
It's kind of nice.
It's
to
not.
At least
It's,
have one good thing. Think about how bad this would be if we didn't have Jared McCain.
oh my god.
Very ugly.
If it was only Reggie Jackson.
Oh my god.
And I will say I like some stuff that I saw out of Adembona. Don't think I'm not noticing.
Yeah,
He's a rookie. He's got a long way to go, but he affects shots, and he's going to be a nice lob catcher. I'm excited for it.
All right. We'll talk to you next time. Let's string some wins together.
Please.
AKA one.
One would be a string.
Let's get one. All right. We'll talk to you next time. Are you down with TTP?
Yeah. You know, lick face.